Everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Lori Williams, and today I want to talk to you about getting comfortable with your emotions, sitting with your emotions, feeling your emotions, basically anything but suppressing them, which ironically is exactly what we're taught as a society to do, is just suppress them. If they feel uncomfortable, suppress them. If they're not socially acceptable, suppress them. If you don't want to look weak, don't cry. If you don't want to look, weak, don't be vulnerable. All those things that society tells us that are just like complete BS. So ultimately, you want to be able to feel your emotions. You want to be able to feel them as they're happening, so that you can process them as they're happening. Um, we get into this, those societal ways of being. Um, and ultimately, I mean, the society, I guess, in a way, kind of wants us to have a persona of perfection that, I mean, let's get real. Every single one of us is human. There is no amount of perfection that we could even fake. It doesn't exist. Um, so basically, what I'm getting at is be able to feel your emotions, to be able to sit with them, allows you to not suppress them, which then allows you to not continue to traumatize yourself. So, um, or to allow others to traumatize you. It comes down to like just grief. I'm going to take grief for the prime example. In what do they call it? Like 12 stages of grief or something like that. So basically, like a 12-step process that you go through with grief. It's like denial and um, anger, and most of the time we're just taught, oh, go away in a quiet room somewhere and deal with that. We're not taught to be able to sit with it. We're not taught that it's not a bad thing. None of our emotions are actually considered bad. There's low vibe emotions and there's high vibe emotions. There's emotions that are going to feel better. Then some are going to feel better than others. Happiness will definitely feel better than anger. But ultimately, none of them are good or bad. They're all just allowing us to grow. They're all allowing us to heal. They're allowing us to be real about where we are. And the truth of it is, before you change anything, you have to be able to recognize where you actually are and be able to bring that to the forefront. Be able to bring focus to the thing that it is that you're feeling. So let's say, for an example, if you're feeling anger, you're going through the process of grief, and you're feeling angry. The worst thing you can do for yourself is try to stop yourself from feeling angry. And I'm not saying, go out and, start beating up on people and vandalizing things. That's not a healthy way to heal yourself at all. But it's okay to acknowledge that you're angry. And it's okay to acknowledge that you're angry because you just lost somebody that you loved. It's okay to let yourself feel that anger because it is part of the process. it it's not a matter of what you want to get away from is recognizing that you're angry and then just be, oh, I can't feel that way, and just try to suppress it. That's the worst thing that you can do because that's where the trauma comes in. So whatever it is that you are feeling, if it doesn't feel good, um what I do, I'll tell you the exact process that I do. What I do is I give myself a time limit. This even goes for days where I just kind of wake up feeling blah. I will let myself feel that way for up to like 3 days. 3 days is my absolute maximum. At this point, anyway, I've never had a reason to extend it. So, I mean, but I haven't been through every possible thing that there is to go through in life either, right? Like, I mean, as far as grief, for an example, I've only ever lost one person that was close to me, and that person wasn't like super, super close to me, and I was a lot younger too. So I haven't really lost a lot of people, and I'm grateful for that. I'm lucky to be able to say that. Most of the people that I've lost are actually not dead. They're still living. So I mean, I guess I've had to go through the grief process for letting go of the relationships that have died. But I'm specifically, for the sake of this, I'm talking about like an actual specific like death. Um, Although it is the same. I mean, the death of a relationship, you grieve just the same, and you grieve. Sometimes it's actually a little bit harder because knowing that person is still alive. But ultimately, what you want to do is allow yourself to sit with those emotions and allow them to figure out, like, what are they meant to teach me? What are they showing me about myself? What are they showing me about how I've lived, how I've loved? I mean, the truth of it is, they say that grief is the thing, the basically the payment for loving someone. Um, And ultimately, I mean, I can see the truth in that, but it's not always easy to be able to sit with those things either. It's not always easy to be able to sit with the emotions and to be able to feel them. So give yourself a limit, give yourself a time, and don't just be like sitting there like, okay, I feel angry. Yep. 5 minutes later, yeah, I'm still angry. Oh, 15 minutes. Yep, I'm still angry. That's not what I mean when I say sit with them. I mean, ask yourself the questions. Journal it if you need to. If you're feeling angry, I'm going to use anger as the example. If you're feeling angry, why am I feeling angry? Obviously, it's because you've lost somebody close to you. Is like, is this anger, um, because I've lost the person, or because I don't have any control over the fact that I lost the person? Because a lot of times anger creeps in when we feel like we are at a loss of control. So I mean that would be a good question to ask yourself too, and just find out what it's there for. What is it teaching you? What is it teaching about yourself? What is it, like I said, what is it teaching you about how you loved and all that kind of stuff? So ultimately there is good, and even what we see as the low vibe, uncomfortable feelings, there's still a lot of good that can be gained from it. And after 3 days, if I'm still feeling that way, I choose different. I choose to stop wallowing. I choose to stop allowing myself to sit with the emotions. I mean, I still sit with it, but not quite as actively. As I'm more as a passer, like kind of like passively looking at it, but not really like giving my full attention to it. And then at that point, I find all the things that's going to make me not angry anymore. So that might be, getting on the phone with a loved one or a close friend, or going for a walk, or spending time with your family, whatever that looks like for you. Basically, what you want to do is to help get yourself out of what you're currently feeling. You need to choose actions that are going to align you with feeling something a little bit better. And don't expect that feeling to go away. I mean, you just sat with anger for 3 days. Don't expect it to go away overnight. It might take you a few days. But at that point, it's for me, 3 days is the active, or is the max amount of time I will let anger sit with me without actively trying to release it. And I will also do like deep breathing of releasing, like deep breathing techniques to release it. Um, and make sure that there's no part of me that is holding any of the energy of this emotion. And I will allowing myself to feel it, allowing myself to learn from it, to grow from it. And at that point, honestly, it is useless to us. It doesn't, holding on to anger over the loss of someone, again, using that as the example, does not say that you love that person more than somebody else did. Like you don't gain anything by holding on to that. So ultimately, it's when it's time to go, it's time to go. It's time for it to release. It's time for that to not be part of you anymore. And like I said, journal it out. Journal out exactly why you feel angry. If that person was taken away from you too early, recognize that. Like that person died young, or it was a senseless death, whatever the case may be. Whatever it is that you're feeling, why you're feeling that way, is 100% warranted. It's 100%. Your feelings are being felt because you have the right to feel them, and they're not wrong. So allow yourself to process them. Allow yourself to feel them. Find out why you're feeling them. Find out what they're supposed to teach you. And after a max of 3 days of doing all of that, release it. It doesn't need to be a life sentence. Uh, I say all the time, hold on to the lesson and let go of the experience. Um, and that's all you have to take away from that is what is it teaching you? Maybe the death of someone that you really loved taught you the lesson of valuing the people that you're really close to. Um, that's a huge life lesson to be able to learn, is the value of people. Um, and the value of people that are important to you in your life ultimately. So you want to make sure that like whatever the process is that you're going through, whatever it is that you're going through. I was using death as the example, but regardless of what it is you're going through, it's all there to teach you something. So take from it what you need and leave the rest. I mean, I know I make it sound simple, and it is a little bit more simple once you get onto it. But I guarantee you, if you've never tried it, it's not near as hard as your mind is going to make you believe that it is. It really is just like letting yourself sit with it, letting yourself feeling it, not seeing it as a bad thing. It's not bad or good; it just is. That's all it is. It just is. You feel angry? It's just there. It's just taking up space for now. Kind of wants to communicate with you. So let it communicate with you. Let yourself feel it. Let yourself process it. And let yourself release it. All right, that is it for this week. I'll see you guys back here next week. Until then, take care. Bye for now.